Walsh about that. Thurman Thomas. Boy, did he get out of the blocks like he wanted that play. He has a first down at the 21.
We were talking about Jamie Mueller. What a beautiful block he made to Spring Thomas. He just at the proper time, he made a beautiful block on the strong safety and sprung him. That's the combination you want. Look at Mueller, number 41, coming to the going inside out. Great job. Destroyed Mike Harden. And that's not an easy block because it's made with a lot of space around both people.
And the hand in the background for Thomas, who comes out, has 138 yards today and a touchdown at 117 against Miami. You can almost write in the 100-yard days for this guy. He had almost 1,300 rushing during the regular season. Davis.
Ooh. Mueller again.
Oh, did he level
Lionel Washington
the corner?
Decked.
Mueller just destroyed Washington on the corner.
It reminds me of Tom Rathman of the 49ers, very much so. Look at Washington knows he's in trouble. Gee. And Washington really couldn't do much about it. He had to hold his ground.
So Mueller getting a chance to play. And one of the notes under his name, as you peruse through all the comments about the Bills players, Mueller, and it's just one-word sentence, blocks. Exclamation point, exclamation point. Second down, short 6. Mueller gets a chance to carry. He said, hey, I'd rather block. But no one could tackle me. Finally, the fourth man, Terry McDaniel, Eddie Anderson gets him to the turf. A loss of a yard.
That's you need the kind of guys you need the kind of guys that will block, and you'll hear a little sound involved with it. This is right on the scene.
Well, the sound was from the crowd reacting to that block. Third down, clock running, and Kelly really consuming some time now. With just 19 seconds left in this third quarter. 3rd and 8. Lofton again. Down at the 1-yard line. They're not going to give him the hat trick. That would have been number 3. Lofton disappointed. Oh, he's had a touchdown catch in every playoff game. This is his 5th. Had a couple with Green Bay. End of the quarter, and the Bills will start on the 1-yard line, hungry for more apparently. We'll be back after these words from your local station.
It's the day after Tuesday, the day before Thursday. Night Court moves back to Wednesday, NBC 9 o'clock, 8 Central.
Running out. You've got until Saturday to play Super Lotto and get a crack at winning over $50 million. Over $50 million. It's the biggest, fattest, grandest jackpot in the history of New York State, and it's still growing. Better hurry. This could be your year.
Life without choices is like a jukebox with one song. More choices are always at your fingertips in the New Jersey Bell Yellow Pages. It's got more choices, a lot more, than any other Yellow Pages. No wonder so many of us, 9 out of 10 of us, use it. When it comes to choices, the more the merrier. The genuine New Jersey Bell Yellow Pages. No other book can match it. A Bell Atlantic company.
A big show is coming to town, and you may be able to get tickets. Because from time to time, American Express reserves select tickets for Gold Card members to theater, sporting events, and now the Paul Simon Tour. Look for our ad in this week's paper. Call us, order them, and you can pick up your Paul Simon tickets right here. Gold Card Events, another unique benefit for Gold Card members. The Gold Card, only from American Express. Don't leave home without it.
How are New Yorkers responding to the war in the Persian Gulf? Watch News 4 New York.
It is now calm again in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia, after a few frantic moments when sirens wailed and people raced to bomb shelters. Here's the experience of NBC's Arthur Kent at that time.
Let's go, focus. There goes a Patriot. Let's go.
What's up? Sirens? Sirens in Saudi Arabia?
That was NBC's Arthur Kent, who was in Saudi Arabia at the time that Patriot missiles were fired at what appear to be incoming Iraqi Scud missiles. Arthur is standing by now in Saudi Arabia. Has it calmed down there, Arthur?
Yes, that's right. Still a nervous atmosphere here. People are still in the shelters, and Saudi officials have confirmed that 2 incoming missiles were intercepted by those Patriots. Mike Betcher and Jeff Riggins were just out on the perimeter of this area here, speaking with people at the local oil camp who said that they thought they saw missiles coming from 2 different directions, and that would match with incoming and intercepting Patriot missiles.
All right, Arthur Kent, so far the Patriot missile, which is an anti-missile missile, never before tested in combat until this Persian Gulf war, has worked very well indeed. We'll have continuing developments on the war in the Persian Gulf throughout the afternoon here on NBC, but now back to Dick Engberg. Dick?
Thank you, Tom. You talk about Arthur Kent under pressure. We've used quarterbacks having to face Bruce Smith. How about Arthur Kent standing up there and under those circumstances? The reporting has been outstanding with our NBC News friends, and we invite you to stay with us in the rest of this game throughout the rest of this day as they cover the Gulf War. Jim Kelly stays in. This is the first play of the final quarter, and that much to the relief of the Los Angeles Raiders. As Kelly, the matter of to whom do they want to give a score? Well, Kenneth Davis has another. Easily. So Davis, who scored 4 touchdowns rushing on the entire season, has 3 today. So Lofton sets up the hat trick, and it's Davis who puts on the fedora.
It's going to be a tough off-season for the Raiders.
Flag on sportsmanlike conduct is the call. Couldn't hear referee Jim Tunney, but one would guess it is. Yeah, let's not guess. Was thrown in the end zone. Could have been for the end zone celebration, or it could have been for a late hit. Norwood makes it 48-3 Buffalo.
Engineers at Acura have made a remarkable discovery. A truly extraordinary car is like a truly extraordinary journey. To achieve it, you have to get off the beaten path. The 1991 Acura Integra.
I think it's only fair that this State of the Company report should have a new state-of-the-art presentation with awesome sound and dynamite graphics. Here we go.
That didn't work. Let me see.
Business is always trying to make some things better. But one thing they can't.
Mr. Barr, Federal Express delivered that London shipment early. Great, huh?
Federal Express. Absolutely, positively the best in the business.
Why is Coors Light the official beer of the 90s? Let's count the reasons. 1, Silver Bullet is the beer that won't slow you down. 2, it's brewed with pure Rocky Mountain spring water. 3, it's got a neat silver can. 4 and 5, Coors Light is available in all 49 states and Canada. And 6, it tastes good. Let's keep all 6 reasons in mind the next time you want a beer. Thank you.
NBC Sports coverage of the AFC Championship is brought to you by Hertz. Wouldn't you rather have Hertz behind you in Florida? We're America's wheels. By Gillette and the revolutionary Gillette Sensor Shaving System. Gillette, the best a man can get. By Coors Light, the one that won't slow you down. The Silver Bullet is the right beer now. And by Acura Automobiles. Experience precision-crafted performance.
Well, there are generations here in Buffalo, those who were cheering this team long before Bruce Smith was welcomed to this world, waited for a day like this. The Buffalo Bills are on their way to their first Super Bowl opportunity, and the AFC apparently is going to send a very good team. Norwood, Teron Brown at the 7. The Olympic gold medalist is to the 38-yard line, make it to 37. Well, while they celebrate here in Buffalo, there's the reality of what's happening elsewhere. So we go back to NBC News and this report from Tom Brokaw.
Thank you, Dick Enberg. Well, we want to bring you up to date on the latest situation as we await an official Pentagon briefing in Washington, D.C. There were missile attacks on Dhahran, Saudi Arabia today, but apparently they were successfully intercepted by the United States Patriot missile, that is the anti-missile missile that was developed very recently and put into combat for the first time in this Persian Gulf War. And so far, from the United States point of view, it is at least 3-3, maybe the record better than that. We think that 2 more incoming Scud missiles, probably modified by Saddam Hussein, were shot down by those Patriot missiles. They are electronically guided after they pick up the incoming missile on a radar screen. They're fired from the back of what looks like a tilted freight truck in the air. They're quite mobile. They're put into position and then fixed there. It takes a crew about 52 weeks to learn how to fire one of these missiles because it's a highly complex piece of electronic machinery. Some of the very best and brightest of the modern soldiers are working on those Patriot missile batteries, and one of them will be going now to Israel as well, which is an extraordinary gesture on the part of the United States to help that country, which does not have a comparable anti-missile missile system. And of course, Israel has taken a couple of hits recently from the Scud missiles fired from Iraq as Saddam Hussein tries unsuccessfully to this point to drag Israel into the war in hopes it will break up the Arab coalition. We're going to go to the Pentagon now and spokesman Pete Williams.
Okay, I know that General Schwarzkopf has appeared on the Sunday program, Sunday broadcast this morning, and then of course there was the briefing in Riyadh, so I don't have a lot to add to what they've said. My purpose here is specifically to try to give you what details we have about the Scud launches into Saudi Arabia this afternoon. And let me caution you all, as I'm sure we'll be doing throughout this operation, that these are preliminary reports. I've hesitated coming down here before now because we wanted to make certain that we had a fairly high degree of confidence in what I'm about to say here. So, but I do want to caution you, appeal to you to note that these are preliminary reports. We continue to go back through this and reassess the event and try to get a better idea of what happened. So again, I want to stress that these are preliminary reports. But our best information now is that there were 2 launches of Iraqi Scud missiles toward Saudi Arabia. We believe they were launched from southern Iraq. I can't be more specific than that. In response, the U.S. fired 5 Patriot missiles. These are anti-missile missiles, air defense missiles, at the incoming missiles. They were fired from the U.S. Patriot batteries near Dhahran. Both the Scud missiles were destroyed. They were both intercepted. There were, of the 5 Patriots fired, 3 of them hit the targets. 2 of them hit the targets, and 1 of them may have hit debris. We're not certain about that. And it may be that by the time the other 2 of the remaining 5 got there wasn't anything left to hit. But I don't have any idea what type of warhead. We have a team out there right now that's trying to assess that. There is, at this point, no reason to believe that they were anything other than conventional high-explosive warheads. So again, 2 confirmed Scud launches from southern Iraq. In response, the U.S. fired 5 Patriot air defense missiles, and both the incoming Scud missiles were destroyed. Now, I don't have any more information than that, but if you have any questions, I don't know what else I can add, but
Did any of the debris fall over populated areas? Was anyone injured? Was there any...
Not that I have no reports of any injuries or any debris striking anybody.
Can you tell us
I got you.
how close in to Dhahran they were when they were intercepted?
No, I don't have that information yet.
Pete, there was an air raid warning in Riyadh also. Is any reports of missiles or any other ordnance fired at Riyadh?
There is Well, we have no report of anything getting to Riyadh. It may well be that the decision was made to sound the warning in Riyadh once the launch was detected heading into Saudi Arabia. But I have no evidence that anything got near Riyadh.
That's Pete Williams, who's the official Pentagon spokesman, describing for us what happened in Saudi Arabia about an hour ago. 2 incoming Scud missiles launched from southern Iraq, intercepted by at least 5 Patriot missiles that were fired at them. We don't know how many of the Patriot missiles, in fact, intercepted the Scuds, but they were successful in any event. This is a videotape of what was going on in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia at the time. You're watching NBC's Arthur Kent describing the outgoing Patriot missile launched from that big Air Force complex there. You hear the explosion. We don't know whether that was the intercept or not. That is a vitally important complex for the United States because we have a lot of hospitals and a lot of F-15 planes that are there as well. And Dick Enberg, I apologize. You and I have known each other for 25 years, and somehow I added an extra G to your name a few moments ago. There is nothing that I can do that can add to your name or to your reputation. But back to you, Dick Enberg.
That's all right, Tom. I've been called a lot worse. You know that as well. Well, meanwhile, Darrell Talley has intercepted Schrader, the 5th interception to tie a playoff record. Talley will return one for 27 yards, sets it up at the LA 27. And just moments ago, Scott Norwood, when a 48-3 game is sent in and kicks a 39-yard field goal to make it 51-3. The Schrader interception ties an NFL playoff mark as you look at Talley, who has one of the 5 interceptions. Meanwhile, going back to Kenneth Davis's touchdown, his 3rd, that also ties a playoff mark. You put Kenneth Davis in the same sentence with Larry Zonka, who had 3 touchdowns against the Raiders in 1973. And now the Raiders are close to having the most points ever scored in any game against a Raider defense. 55. That has happened 2 times. San Diego did it once against them, and then I think you go way back to the AFL days early on to find the other time.
I think we're going to get Vince Evans. I think that's the day for Schrader. And I hate to see this guy who's had a great season have to almost in humiliation leave a game. But Art Shell's decided, looks like, to go with Vince Evans. And maybe Vince can move the ball a little bit anyway.
And speaking of records now, the 51 points scored by Buffalo ties the AFL AFC championship record. San Diego Chargers in 63 scored 51 points against the Boston Patriots. So this has been a day to remember for those who have longed to forget some of the terrible days here in Buffalo for these great football fans. You just have to be so pleased for them that their moment has arrived, even though it comes in conditions where it's tempered and sobered by more important happenings. But for a few hours here in Buffalo, these fans have enjoyed a team at its best.
It pays to be selective by Shearson Lehman Brothers. According to Institutional Investors' recent research team poll, we're #1 in investment research. Of the nearly 7,000 publicly traded companies in the U.S., we identify what we believe to be the 1,000 most important. Of these, we recommend only 115. Which stocks survive our scrutiny? Talk with us. Shearson Lehman Brothers.
Recently, Acura introduced what many have called the greatest sports car the world has ever known. Our latest idea is somewhat bigger. The 1991 Acura Legend.
Did you know only 1-800 service is guaranteed if something keeps you from getting calls? Only AT&T automatically protects you with our 800 assurance policy. Now we can reroute your 800 calls faster than ever, in 30 minutes or less.
Yes,
800 calls that get through. Another AT&T advantage.
An all-new Seinfeld is back. One part stand-up comedy, one part sitcom.
I'm not getting illegal cable. I'm offering you 56 channels. Movies, sports, nudity, and it's free for life. What if I get caught? It's the 90s. It's hammer time.
Seinfeld on NBC Wednesday.
Now the Eastern champions, the Buffalo Bills, who played in the championship game at home the last time in the championship back in the AFL days 25 years ago, prior to the first Super Bowl, and Kansas City beat them, went on to the Super Bowl in Los Angeles, and a 9-year-old man, a young boy from Los Angeles with his dad, James Lofton, was there in the Coliseum. He said, that's the closest I've been to a Super Bowl. And his 2 touchdown catches and one more catch that put the ball on the 1-yard line, one of the many big stories for Buffalo today. Boy, the sports section won't be big enough in Buffalo. They've got a lot to report on. Vince Evans is the new quarterback for the Raiders, and he gives to Napoleon McCullum. Napoleon McCullum, who, after playing at Navy, of course, served as an ensign, returned to the Raiders as a first lieutenant, and has so many buddies, friends, men that he was their officer. He did a tour in the Persian Gulf himself. McCallum gets a chance to carry and picks up about close to 5.
One of the reasons that Schrader's on the bench is Darryl Talley intercepting 2 passes. Darryl dropped into the zone defense a couple of times and completely fooled Schrader. Schrader threw the ball right to him.
The boo in the background, the announcement, Greg Bell, who gets his first carry. Of course, Bell, a former Bill, had some 1,000-yard seasons here. That's his first rush today. He was just activated yesterday when Bo Jackson's injury became apparent, at least, and acknowledged by the Raiders that he could not play today. So Bell, acquired from the Los Angeles Rams, where he had back-to-back 1,000-yard years, gets his first chance here in front of the former home folks.
Sure, this is what he had in mind.
Bell and McCallum and Vince Evans, the quarterback. Evans to Brady, and boy, that one was in a crowd of blue. Shane Conlon, the closest to Bill.
Brady was open. Vince just had to throw the ball far enough. But Talley, an excellent player, all-around player, does everything very, very well. Team leader. Today, he freed up somehow in his own defense and just stood there, and the ball came right to him. And the Raiders apparently didn't anticipate that form of pass coverage or something.
He has a brother, of course, also in the NFL with Cleveland. John, a tight end, who grew up in Cleveland. Greg Bell bowling through the middle to the 36-yard line.
Dick, I can recall the 49ers losing a playoff game to the Giants 49-3, utterly humiliated, only to come back and win the World's Championship a couple of years later. And so those who are viewing this that are Raider fans, you'll feel badly for a while, but the Raiders will be back. They'll learn from this.
Raiders will host Buffalo next year this year in the 91 regular season. 3rd down. Call it long 4. And Evans scrambling out of bounds, a former Bear quarterback, and he's close to a 1st down. Well, Ralph Wilson, in his 31st season, part of the original American Football League teams that were organized in 1960. And we talked to Thurman Thomas 2 days ago, and I said, for whom are you going to be most happy if you go to the Super Bowl, a friend, a family, whatever? And he said, I'm going to be happy for Mr. Wilson. He's really made a commitment the last couple of years. The times where money was a little tighter, he's gone. He spent the money. He's kept the good players. He's got Kelly signed to a long-term major contract. And Mr. Wilson, all your compatriots and friends in the NFL are pleased for your season's success. Who has always been a running quarterback, gets about 11 more to the Buffalo 46-yard line where Shane Conlon chases him out of bounds.
It's really going to be critical for the Bill team, coaches, everyone, to maybe have a dinner out tonight and relax and enjoy it. But tomorrow, getting on that plane, going to the ultimate game, the Super Bowl, and to be very confident and positive, but not so euphoric and cocky that they'll overlook the NFC team. And that can happen with just 1 week. Between games, it'll be most difficult for the Bills, their first time in a Super Bowl, to go down into that media hype and all the attention they'll get. They're really going to have to show some maturity to live through it and do well.
Here's Greg Bell. That will be a major difference between no matter who wins in the game later. The Bills have never been through the Super Bowl experience, while the Giants have, and certainly the 49ers have become accustomed to it. So that will weigh as a definite plus for the NFC entrant into that Super Bowl 25.
Especially, Dick, with 1 week. Just 5 short days. And they'll be in Tampa tomorrow in the crush of the media.
When do you get your game plan? Mark Levy was asking you, when do you get your game plan together?
Well, this is all new to me. They're going to have to try to get it done. It'll have to be very simple. Of course, the Bills may not need much of a game plan the way they've been playing football. But the forces that work on you are there to behold.
Greg Bell from Evans, and Bell running hard and knocked out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. In that regard, the Giants would really be the team that Bills fans would be cheering for, because, one, they know that they can beat the Giants, or at least they have, and two, there's a game plan already developed for the Giants. You just refine that. But the 49ers, whole different matter.
Yeah, you're so right. That would be totally different. The Giants have the same problems in a sense the Raiders have had all year, playing excellent football, at times great football, but not doing a lot of scoring. Winning 17-14, 24-21.